Okay, okay. This is super risky business, and um, but I've been fairly impetuous recently in arenas that I did not anticipate it being so. Um, so I'm just gonna lay this out there. I really want to do a podcast. I have wanted to I I have wanted to do a podcast before podcasts became popular. I just didn't want to be famous or known or popular. I don't like attention, believe it or not. I really, really don't. Um, so, and everyone who has agreed with me that they would do a podcast with me has changed their mind for one reason or another, mostly because none of them want to be famous or known or popular either. And so, in the interim, between then and now, I've practiced being the center of attention in different ways, which has never worked out well for me. I would just like to point out it is not my favorite. I don't like it at all. But I've practiced and I'm a little better. So that factoring in that with, in conjunction with the reality that you can do a podcast so many different ways. I mean, you don't even have to show your face. You don't have to tell anybody your name. You don't have to. I get concerned about hackers, especially because my second husband is a psycho stalker hacker, and there's a whole story there. It doesn't even matter. The point is that like I don't care anymore. I just want to have healthy, far-ranging discourse with people who view things similarly and differently from me depending on the topic. I crave community, and I've always done everything I can to kind of manage and kind of control my interactions because I don't like too much attention. I get really easily overwhelmed and overstimulated and over talkative about. There's only a few topics that can really make me go off, but boy, do I just, well, we've seen. Um, so, but I need to restore the areas and arenas in my brain that, the temperance and the grace and the the class and the patience and the the you know and so if anyone out there would like to have a podcast with me, the next 6 months are really massively uncomfortably up in the air. But after that, I really do have confidence and faith in the future settling down for me. I've been seeking stability, safety, security, just to be settled for a very, 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 my whole life, okay? I achieved it in certain areas and capacities at different points in time, but the vast majority of my life has been moving and moving and moving again. And can I just tell you, I don't think that there was a K in my saying moving before the stroke. And I don't know how or why, and I try, but it's obviously going to take more work, because when I'm whatever, it just, there is like this, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I know a lot of people speak that way. It's just, there's no K at the end of ing, and it kind of bothers me. I worked so hard to get my words. I worked so hard to communicate in a way that would allow me to be a savvy, classy, well-respected businesswoman someday. And, here I am, surprising myself by embroiling myself in a hate train and calling people who call people peasants lame as fuck. Who even am I? I don't know. I want to find out. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's not. We don't need to do a podcast on, who am I? Although, I mean, I'm open to that possibility. Anyway, I just want to do a podcast with anyone, with more than one person if possible. I want to do a podcast where intelligent discourse and discussion on subjective versus objective correlation, causation, perceptions and paradigms, human nature, psychology, any of these types of topics. Neurology is fascinating. It's just absolutely fascinating. The way that humans are hardwired and soft-wired, and how your childhood factors in, and what we're actually capable of changing, how willpower is finite, but most people don't know that. I worked hard to get my words, and I want to use them. And I've been told many a time that my voice is soothing or sexy or comforting or, whatever. I've been told that I have a voice. And so would I like to get paid at some point in my life for working as hard as I've worked to educate myself on the things that I've educated myself on, and what I've overcome, and the effort that I've put in, and the reality that I really do have a great amount of respect for the vast majority of human beings, and I really do give people a chance more often than not. Are there certain areas that are just, I draw a line and that's a no-go for me, Somebody tells me to shut up and calls me a bitch online, I'm probably not going to respect their wishes, Somebody says, hey, you were too harsh, even if they use, different languaging and there's censure there, I'm going to look at it. Somebody says, you come across as holier than thou, and even if it's said in a way that is rude, I mean, I see the point, I always do my best to look outside of my own experiences and do everything I can to see where someone is coming from. And am I more willing, to discern or judge more quickly at this point in time, going into my 5th fucking decade in this world? It's just can't believe. Calm, calm. Yeah, so I've tried and I failed and I've tried and I failed and I've tried and I failed again. And I haven't accomplished crap except for valuing my own character and maintaining a modicum of dignity and sustaining my integrity and, you know, the essence of my soul so that I'll be happy with my trajectory once I pass from this life. But I still come across as an asshole sometimes. And yeah, you know, talk about that, talk about anything, everything. There are very, very few topics and very, very few moments that I am not willing to discuss elements of humanity and the human experience and my perception of it. And I love listening. I love listening to other people's, perception of it. I mean, as long as they're just not being like cruel trolls or whatever, right?